So I'd like to introduce Kevin, who's the Global Strategy Director. With 20 years experience, Kevin has a passion for raising industry standards and improving the reputation of channels and is involved in releasing a series of best practice regulations over the years. We also have Linda, who is the Senior Vice President, UK Ireland at CJ. And Linda is passionate about experiencing online marketing professionals with over 15 years of digital and affiliate marketing experience, giving her in-depth knowledge of online affiliate marketing. And last but not least, I hope everybody's still here, we have Anthony, who is the marketing partner at AdTraction. Anthony has 15 years industry experience in his credit and is widely passionate regarding affiliate speakers and a firm believer in the need for great transparency and analysis on the value affiliate marketing delivered to advertisers. I hope you guys got that because that was a whole mouthful to give you guys. But without further ado, I'd love to welcome them up. If we can have the warmest of round of applause and cheers. Come on, guys, they're coming up.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you.
Right. Oh, mic's on. OK, thank you all for coming along today. I appreciate the eating into your lunch, so thank you for coming along. Also, big thanks to Matt and the team as well, because this was a slot that wasn't available, and we managed to shoehorn it into today's agenda. So thank you to him and to the organisers as well. So we're calling this session The State of the Industry, The State of Us.
State of us, yeah.
A 2022 advertising agency study. Today we're going to give you some insights from a piece of work that Networks came together alongside Acceleration Partners as well, came together to do over the last couple of months. And we've scrabbled to bring all of the insights together over the weekend, pretty much, to present to you here today. So you already know who's joining me up on stage, so I won't go through that bit. But before we come on to talk about some of the insights from this year's study, I wanted just to give you a little bit of context. So for any of you that were in Ros and Matt's session earlier, you may have seen this stat, but I just wanted to provide a little bit of context for it, because about 10 years ago, the affiliate industry challenged the Internet Advertising Bureau to do a piece of research for us. And it's a really expensive piece of research. It was a great piece of qualitative and quantitative data in a kind of industry that has really lacked that kind of insight. And it was an amazing piece of work. It was very expensive to do. And it kind of meant that because it was so expensive, it kind of got whittled down and whittled down and whittled down. And the one piece of data that we're able to now get from the IAB is they do hive off the affiliate revenue for us, but it's only 7 companies that submit data. So they don't model it like they did in the original survey. So we don't take into consideration what Amazon spend, for example, or what eBay, or any of the other 7 companies that don't submit their data spend. So it gives us a headline stat, one headline stat that we're able to go to market, but we know this is a very kind of low benchmark number. Now, we have seen 7% year-on-year increase, 40% across 2 years. Behind this stat, there's also the kind of the really positive story that 2 years ago, when everyone was pulling back on their spend during the pandemic, the affiliate channel continued to grow by double-digit figures as well. So that data comes out every April, but what we wanted to do with this survey is provide something a little bit more qualitative. It's something that also the US market have also taken on board as well. So they wanted to do something similar to our original survey. And this new survey, it's the second one they've done, came out a couple of months ago. I think it is free to download. You have to register on the Performance Marketing Association website. But they also do this in conjunction with PwC and networks like CJ and AWIN. And they came out with a couple of, again, really quite impressive headline stats. And that is that the US affiliate spend top 9.1 billion. Now, they do model the data as well as taking submitted data. And that was an increase of almost 50% since the previous survey they did in 2018. And that came out at an ROI of 12 to 1. Now, those amongst you that have done a quick bit of maths will recognize that 71 divided by 9 is not 12. But what they did is they took the the sales that they actually register a basket for, they took that and then they took the commission, they divided the two, and they came out with that 12 to 1 bigger. That survey, I would encourage you to view. It's very, very publisher focused, and they're very much focusing on all of the themes around publishers' growth. So what we did is we pulled together 22 questions, and we're not going to have time to go through everything today, but we will give you some top highlights. And there were 8 companies that came together. We came up with a series of questions, and then we distributed it to our networks. Now, we got 137 responses. Not a huge amount, but it's enough to go by for today's responses. But kind of a bit of a rallying call for everybody here. When you see this survey coming out next year, please do complete it or share it with your network so that we can have as big a data set as possible. It was also open to agencies and advertisers of any size as well. So we got a whole range of responses within that. So just a bit of a name check to the company so that you're aware of who both supported it, gave us feedback, but also distributed it. So the first headline stat, all the colors are coming out a bit funny. The first headline stat was related to one of the core questions that we wanted to ask, which is, compared to other marketing channels you use, are you looking to spend a higher proportion of your marketing budget on affiliate and partner marketing over the next year? And the really encouraging sign was that 46%, so almost half, said that they were planning to invest proportionally more in the affiliate channel. Now, I've already started to see it, and you probably will see it over the coming months. You know, we are in a situation in this country whereby nobody knows economically what's going to happen. We may already be in recession, and inevitably, as we all know, one of the first things to be cut is marketing budget. So we know that we need to be that kind of very ROI performance-based channel to kind of protect and mitigate. So in light of some of those surveys that are going to be coming out, if we can kind of maintain that almost 50% level, or even if we can maintain that 50% level, and also the 40% that's saying, well, actually, we're not going to decrease, we're not going to reduce our focus on affiliate marketing, then that has to be seen as a positive. In terms of that 46%, it's 15 times more than the percentage of advertisers that said that they're going to decrease their spend. And one other thing, which I'm not going to go through the stats on today, but we also asked advertisers to rate themselves according to how much they spend on the affiliate channel. So they could put themselves into increments based around their monthly spend. So that range, so we're able to get an idea about whether they're an SME up to the kind of the biggest brands. And the biggest increment at the top was anyone that's spending more than £1 million a month, of which 7% of the respondents were in that category. So we know that we're kind of incorporating some really, really kind of chunky affiliate budgets within this. And an interesting thing, an interesting insight from that was that the more that advertisers spend on the channel, actually the greater the propensity is for them to decide that they want to spend more on it. So I think you can kind of interpret this in different ways. You might say, well, actually, that's kind of an indication that if you're spending a lot of money on the channel, then clearly you have done your homework, you've done your research, you've kind of done your due diligence, you are kind of running all of those incrementality tests, all of that kind of stuff that's really demonstrating the value. And one other final point, whilst we didn't get a ton of responses from agencies, no agencies said that they were planning on reducing their budgets. So before I hand over to Ant, another question that we asked was, what percentage of your revenue is generated by the affiliate or partner marketing channel? Again, we gave people 5 increments, so less than 10%, 10 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, and 60% plus. Now, I mean, I remember going to sales pitches over the years, and one of the key things that a salesperson would always say to a brand if we were pitching is that a well-optimized affiliate campaign should be looking to account for about 15% of your revenue or sales. And this kind of pretty much aligns with that, I think. If you look at everything to the right of the 43% mark, you'll see that that's pretty much 2/3 of the respondents, and for around 2/3 of them, affiliate accounts for more than 10% of their revenue. Again, looking at cross-referencing it with that data around how much people are spending, more than half of those spending more than £600,000 a year, because one of the increments was up to was £50,000 plus per month. More than half of those, of the 31% of advertisers that fell into that increment, are seeing in excess of 20% of their sales through affiliate. So again, it tends to skew towards the brands that replied that are spending a lot of money are seeing that kind of step change in terms of it being very, very significant, because you're getting to a stage there where 20% of your sales revenue is very much kind of top table stuff. One final point I just wanted to leave you with before I hand over to Anne is that if I dial back to that, the US PMA study, that 9.1 billion that I quoted represents around about 3.5% of the total US digital marketing economy, whereas that 71 billion represents about 10% of e-commerce in the US. So it's kind of, this is kind of stuff that we know, that affiliate is kind of doing a lot of heavy lifting. It works hard, it punches above its weight. But I would expect those numbers to be a little bit closer together. And I think the challenge that we all face is how do we ensure that our share of basket is represented in our share of voice as well. So, Anne, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Kev. So, some wonderful colours there. So one of the key things that, this is like an important basic question, I think, when the industry is trying to do an advertiser-facing survey. Compared to the previous year, are there more opportunities or less opportunities in the channel, or are they about the same? And this is interesting in a sense of how we read it. One thing I would say about this is we need to go into a little bit more detail here, and we will do later on. Linda's going to touch on this. But compared to a year ago, 50% or almost 50% of respondents felt that there were more publisher, partner, affiliate opportunities than a year ago. So great for the industry. 1/3 saw no change, and the rest was either a combination of less or didn't know. Now, again, I think on the face of it, that's very positive. That's important for the industry. We can only look around an event like this, and those of you that have been to these events before over the last 6 or 7 years can see that the industry is growing. I think we'll look at this in a bit more detail because, you know, sometimes, as we all know in this room, it's not necessarily about having more partner opportunities at your fingertips. It's sometimes about, you know, from an advertiser and agency perspective, how you activate those. Can you activate them? Are they right for your brand? And I think with those things in mind, maybe the industry has a little bit more work to do. But I think generally we took away from this as an industry that this was positive. I think we also thought that there are some, you know, some macroeconomic, social things over the last couple of years that have certainly helped the industry to attract more publishers than, you know, than it had before. This is a piece of AWIN data, so at pain of death, Kev forced me to present this, so I'm doing it under protest. But I think it is interesting because it does actually illustrate that you know, these kind of macroeconomic and social factors can have an important impact on the growth of our industry in terms of the number of affiliate or publisher participants. And what we see here, this is actually a graph over time of the monthly publisher sign-ups at AWIN over the last 10 years. And we highlighted 2 points, which was the, you know, 2 jumps in the graph, which was lockdown, which saw a lot more affiliates and publishers, I guess, signing up to the network for the first time. And also, when Amazon announced that they were cutting commissions, saw another big hit in terms of positive growth to the AWIN platform. And I think probably all networks would have seen that, given that you know, over the last decade, there are certainly publishers out there that would have only worked with Amazon, but would have maybe, you know, potentially rethought where they were sending traffic when those commissions were reduced. And that was very specifically a US thing. But I think that's quite interesting to show how the different factors, both within the industry and outside, have contributed to this idea that, you know, that the number of publishers or the number of opportunities or the number of opportunities that brands see in our industry has grown.
Can I just add a point on that one, Ant? We saw at CJ similar trend, and what was important to us, though, was also to consider the compliance nature. So a lot of the publishers that were signing up, it was very important for us to ensure that the vetting of those publishers, we need to maintain a good standard within the industry as well. So it's a good mix of publishers coming, but we still need to maintain that compliance piece as well.
So I don't have very many friends in this industry, so I get to talk about this question, which is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how valuable are the following affiliate models? So a couple of caveats here. I'm just presenting this data. This is not my own opinions. And also, the way this question was phrased was that advertisers were asked to rate a list of affiliate models 1 to 10, and were not able to choose the same rating for each one. So this very much needs to be considered in isolation. It's a rating of affiliate or publisher types against each other, essentially. So those are my caveats out of the way. I'm not sure necessarily, well, there were 1 or 2 surprises, I think, in this information. I think one thing to note here is the partner types that scored highly, those ones on the left of the slide as you look at it, and we drew actually a little a dotted line down this to illustrate this. They were generally I guess the affiliate models that have worked in the industry probably for the longest time. I think they're also the models that are a bit more ubiquitous, that they work with all advertisers. So, and also, you know, on a last click CPA model, they are the partner types that are naturally going to do the best in our industry. So I think look at this with those thoughts in mind. A word about 1 or 2 of the types on the right. I think we generally saw maybe a slightly lower rating here, where the affiliate type was either newer to the market or was maybe had a little bit more of a one-to-one relationship with a brand. So I think if you look at everything left to right, I think some of these types on the right would be either more one-to-one partnerships or would certainly not work with all advertisers. So when we look at this, just have that in mind. Linda's going to come on to talk about this in a bit more detail as well, but I think where things like influencers and social are concerned, I think there's still, and we got this through the comments in the survey, there's still a very big challenge from a brand perspective about rewarding those kind of models or rewarding those kind of models in a standard CPA setup. So yeah, that may also explain why some of those rated slightly to the right. But certainly anybody that works in the cashback business can take great heart from this result. For those of you that struggle with colours, this might be challenging. This was an important question, I think, for the industry to ask. If you could choose 3 affiliate models to grow your revenue with over the next year, which would you choose? I don't think it was necessarily a surprise to many people that editorial content, influencers, those models that drive more discovery, more engagement, maybe more top-of-funnel engagement, did the best here. I think, again, it's important to think about this and say, okay, well, you look at that, brands want to invest more in these models next year. I think how they do that and whether they have the tools available at their disposal to do that is an important question. I think one of the things that I noted from this compared to this is maybe a model like voucher coding didn't perform maybe as well here as it did on the previous question. So I would say this maybe looks a bit more at future investment versus what's performing well in the here and now for advertisers. I think it's difficult, obviously, for advertisers to say, we want to invest more in discounting, or we see that as a significant part of how we grow our affiliate channel. So I think maybe some models were always going to do a bit better out of this question than others. But interesting. And because we're an affiliate industry and we're affiliate networks, we had to ask a tracking question.
Can't see.
Oh,
Can't see the
results. I will
text.
talk you through them. So we asked this question: compared to other channels, does your affiliate tracking properly represent the contribution of the channel, underrepresent the contribution of the channel, or overrepresent the contribution of the channel? And as you can see by this graph, although you can't actually see what it represents, the answers were massively spread. I don't think there was really one particular answer that was most heavily favored. By 1%, it was actually underrepresent. So the blue is underrepresents. The green is it adequately represents. So the one thing that I took away from this, actually, and I was quite a fan of this question because I believe that our channel can't exist in isolation from other digital channels in terms of how it's measured. I look at this and thought, we have a lot of work to do to help people to understand how affiliate tracking and the way we in this room measure affiliate activity compares to the way brands measure us and other channels side by side. So the tie-up between affiliate tracking and Google Analytics will be a really interesting point there, and I think there's still a lot of education to go there. The one thing I would say about the tracking point, if you're a brand and you work with a network SaaS company, make sure you talk to them about making sure that your tracking is as properly optimized as possible. And I think as an industry, we need to take this point away and help people to to properly understand how affiliate tracking ties in with other measurement platforms, particularly Google Analytics.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to take this question. So I have one.
Oh.
I got my own. How important are the following success metrics when assessing affiliate marketing? I think it won't be any surprise that return on investment was the top metric. I think affiliate has proven we generate a very high ROI. We're a performance marketing channel, so sales volumes we can directly correlate back to publishers, so sales volumes being second. Interesting though at the end was brand building, which featured the lowest. So I think with a lot more collaborations with influencers and content, you can't discount the strength that affiliate can deliver in regards to brand building. So when we repeat this survey and we get more respondents, it'll be interesting to see how this metric might change over the coming years. Oh, don't want to ruin it. So we know affiliate has a good, strong ROI. We know it generates a large volume of sales. We know it's profitable. So what is preventing brands from investing in the channel? Anyone want to guess? There's three top answers, which might surprise some of you. We did have animation, but the animation isn't working, so I have to show all three at the one time. Okay, they are, first, lack of publisher diversity. I'm going to touch on each point separately. So lack of publisher diversity, which is quite interesting considering the previous stat that Ant spoke about in regards to there was quite a significant increase in the volume of publishers coming into the affiliate and performance channel. So there's probably two key takeaway points for this. So one is there's a lot of publishers coming in. There's probably an acknowledgement that networks have to provide a bit more curated help and support in facilitating those partnerships to ensuring that the right brands are working with those right publisher partnerships. Secondly, though, there is also an element of a lot of the publisher types that Anne talked about earlier. I'd be very surprised if there's a brand in the room that's working with every single one of those publisher types. So as a brand, you definitely need to get involved in a lot of the publisher types that might seem difficult to work with. But even the types of like the tech publishers that had a very low value, we've seen significant amount of revenue that those brands that have engaged with them have actually delivered. So your Intently's, your RevLifters, your Upsell-It, they're certainly publisher partners that you should be considering to work with. So there's an element of a change of mindset of how you work with those different publisher types. How you work with a cashback and voucher publisher is not going to be the same as how you work with a content or influencer. So being a bit more open in terms of how you're going to be working those publisher types. Secondly, unpredictability, difficult to budget. It is. It's difficult to budget. But we certainly, I know at CJ, we work with a lot of brands to try and develop a number of tools to help forecast that based on trends, based on benchmarking. But then there's the other side, that we are a performance form of marketing. And if you're purely on a CPA basis, why would you sort of cap that budget? You're getting a guaranteed sale. So bearing that in mind, you have to ask yourself, well, why do you cap it with the budget? It really links to point 3. People don't understand it in my business. And I think that's where everyone in the audience, not just networks, all brands and publishers, we need to really champion the affiliate and partnership challenge as well. We're here to educate. We're here to support brands in terms of not just talking to CMOs. We go into brands and we speak to their trading teams, their finance teams, to really educate them about the power of affiliate and partner marketing and how cost effective it really is for you to actually invest a lot more into the channel. So we had we had an open-ended question in terms of, what was the question again?
Just kind of what do you want
What
the industry
do you,
to do
yeah,
better?
what do you want for the industry to do more of? So these were I touched on publisher diversity and building relationships. Education is really key, not just within brands, but even in grassroots. So speaking to university students, educating them more about getting involved in the affiliate channel is something we're all involved in as well. And then there's other elements like incrementality, network standards, and cookie technology. So that's really, I think, working together to ensure that those standards are maintained. This is a great example of a collaboration between all, networks, SaaS providers, agencies, publishers. So more of that is really going to help the industry as well. And then finally, trust and transparency. I think everyone plays a part in that as well. Sharing more information is just going to make those partnerships and relationships a lot better. But on a good note, you left that one in.
Oh, I forgot to take that one out, sorry.
Well then, okay. That's okay. It is a confusing picture for a number of people. This is an IMRG study that did, a lot of the survey findings that they found was that discounting is more prominent. They are cutting back on digital marketing spend, and new customer acquisition is the primary goal. But the good news is, and we could raise our glasses of champagne to this, is in light of the current concerns with the cost of living crisis, overwhelming, 68% of the respondents did say that they believe affiliate and partner marketing channel will be more important. 4% said less. The 28% had no change or didn't know. So that's really encouraging for the industry that we're in. There was a study as well which further reiterates this by Commerce Next, which was quite recently done. It was in the States, huge amount of well-known brands, and they ranked affiliates and partnership as the second most productive returning a good ROI and ROAS after paid search. So it's really encouraging, good industry to be in right now. And in terms of where we'd like to take things further, this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of how we need to be more collaborative within our industry. This is an example of a collaboration which a lot of the networks and the SaaS providers work together in terms of tracking standards and educating brands on what they need to do. There's a website here called affiliatepartnertracking.com. You can find more information here, and we'll also be hopefully posting the results of this survey on that website as well. So feel free to check out the website. And that's it.